Hello and welcome to polyphonic.org video blog. And we are cranking along. We had a video blog a couple days ago and another one right up now. So things have been really crazy busy. As the last video blog saw, I played Principal on Mahler 5. I played third on Tchaikovsky's Symphony. And one of the things that I'm finding about time management is the importance of having good rapport with your fellow colleagues, your working professionals, and any professors which you may be working with. The reason for that being is you can't do everything all the time, and it's not always going to be perfect. So, it's one of those things where you get a little behind, and I got behind in my classes. But because I had a good rapport with the teachers, uh, they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. So, kind of something that I like to do with a lot of my classes is the first couple weeks when I know it's going to be slow, um, really put the time in and really get some quality work done. I don't skimp on it right from the beginning because sometimes you need to kind of cash in that credit. And it's the same with performing, too. In Los Angeles, there's no such thing as tenure. You are only as good as your last concert, and I had a long chat with one of the top contract, or I should say, one of the retired contractors in town. Her name is Sandy DeCrescent, and she's contracted all the huge movies. Check her out. You look up on IMDb, and Sandy DeCrescent's going to be one of the big names for music contractors. And it's one of those things where it's, you work your tail off, and you build up credit, you work hard, and you never let it down. And everybody's going to have a bad performance sooner or later, but if you have enough good performances, you can effectively cash in your credit. But at the same time, if somebody's never heard you before and that's that one bad concert, it's going to take a while to get back on that. And something else that I learned this past time around was the importance of having names right in the program, because I was on a gig where it was a last minute switch. It wasn't anyone's fault, because it's a last minute switch. The programs have already been printed, um, but there were a lot of exposed horn solos, doing some new pieces by Oscar Navarro and Bolero and a couple other pieces. And but it was definitely not, my name wasn't in the program. So it was one of those things where I talked with some colleagues, and the conductor was extremely apologetic and didn't realize that it had happened. And remember, sometimes it's not always the conductor's responsibility for that. Sometimes it's the manager, sometimes it's the personnel manager, sometimes it's a completely different department. So make sure you don't go to the wrong people with your complaints. So just really apologetic about it, but it's something that you don't really think about, because people always come up, they're like, oh, just make sure everybody's name's right in the program. Because if there's a contractor out in the audience or somebody out in the audience and they look down and they see, oh, Frank Townsend is playing, principal oboe, and you happen to be the principal oboe player and your name's not Frank Townsend, they're going to think you're somebody else, and that can be a big problem in a freelancing situation. So always check the programs. Make sure everything's as you like it, and you don't want to get into a situation where you demand at intermission that they correct the programs. That's you got to be a little more tactful than that. But just be aware of that, and if you have the opportunity, double check your name. Always make sure it's right, and it's these little things that I never really thought about, because particularly in school you just assume that it's always going to be right. I actually went my first 3 concerts here without realizing that in the program my name was listed as John Miller, which is my formal name. But anybody who calls me John Miller, I know they have never talked to me and they've never met me before. So I didn't even realize it. I had to kind of catch that one quickly before everybody started. They would call in to a gig board and they'd say, I'm looking for John Miller, the horn player, and they may not have any idea who that is. So always check it. Always do your follow-up work. But anyway, so that's kind of the big lesson that I learned this past week is always check the programs and make sure that your name is right, because you never know who's going to be out in the audience, and someone might get credit for your work, which is very heroic, but in a freelance scene, that may not be the best thing to do. So take care. I hope you're enjoying my video blog. Bye bye.